Resilience is the human quality that allows a person to be knocked down or even out by life and come back at least as strong. Hopefully stronger, changed but not for the worse. In every episode, we examine what qualities make someone stronger, more flexible, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Next Set is committed to changing lives for the better. We hope you enjoy these podcasts. Tiffany and Matt, thanks for being here on the Next Set podcast. I'm excited to have you guys here. You've been through quite the journey. Give us a little bit of background on where you've come from and where you're headed.
You want to go?
Yeah, so Tiffany and I have been really putting on and hosting events for a number of years now under a couple different umbrellas. You know, a few years ago, we've always had an interest in just doing things for the community, you know, for the betterment of the community we live in, and wanted to find ways to give back to the community in different charity organizations, veteran organizations, things like that. And so, 3-4 years ago, we put our heads together and we're like, okay, we're going to make the commitment to start hosting some events. So, and one of the first events that we hosted was the Warriors for Warriors 5K 3 years ago. And, into the future here, over the Christmas time frame, we had to make a decision to stop what we were doing or take the leap and form our own company and really take it to the next level. So we put our heads together and made the decision to continue on and continue to put on more events. So we came up with the brand name True North Endurance and Events, and put some branding together, and here we are now, off and running, and we've got our next event coming up here in August, the 3rd annual Warriors for Warriors 5K.
Wow, tell us a little bit about that and what motivates you to do that. What motivates you to be involved in something that gives back to vets?
So for me, and I didn't know that it was ever going to turn into this. It was actually a Spartan race that I did with my friend and my husband a few years back. We were in South Carolina doing a race, and super muddy South Carolina rain, and we're kind of stuck on the trail because it's just single file, not a lot of movement, and kind of look up and I see this guy on crutches with one leg. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, this sucks. Like, oh, why am I doing this stupid race? I look up and I see that, and I'm just like, why am I complaining? Wow, like, what am I doing? Yes. And we got to share the course with this guy for about a mile or so. And at the time, he was racing with Operation Enduring Warrior, awesome foundation. And I had snapped a picture of him, because that was like a turning point in the race for me. And get home, a couple days later, everyone, you post your pics on social media, and kind of tagged Operation Enduring Warrior in it. It's like, oh, look at this inspiring guy. Like, this makes me want to be a better person and do more. And the gentleman in the picture saw it and responded. Now fast forward 3-4 years later, and he's a dear friend of mine.
Wow.
Matt Petro lives in New York, and we've actually had him out a few times back out to Utah, and very, very dear friend of mine. So I knew at that point, after actually meeting him and being able to spend, he actually came back out and did a race with us here in Utah, and we just made that bond friendship-wise, and we decided, I really want to do more for these veterans, and that turned into Warriors for Warriors, and we decided, let's go ahead and pick a foundation, a charitable organization that we can, that needs this money. We don't need this money, they do. And that year, I think it was Bravo Company.
Yeah, first year was, yeah.
So we worked with Bravo Company. Last year, we were with Oscar Mike, incredible foundation that works with adaptive veterans, and we raised enough money to send 3 of them to the Oscar Mike compound, fly them out for a whole week to do what they do best there. And it's just kind of been an addiction ever since, for lack of better words. We just want to keep going with it and doing what we can for our first. It's for veterans, but also first responders. We've got a lot of police and fire and EMT that are out there doing their all for our local communities, as our military, across the country and internationally. So.
Wow. So it's really about giving back.
Oh,
it's
100%.
Really about doing something more for your community, being being your own legacy.
Yeah, like
Moving it forward.
Tiffany said, we could care less how much money we make. All the money, we want to donate as much money as we can back to these organizations that need the money way more than we do.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, we're not in it to get rich or anything like that. We want to just give back and bring people together and make an impact.
What do you see when you say make an impact? Give us an example of a story where somebody signed up for one of these races and you saw another side of them come out, maybe more confident or maybe able to overcome something that they were struggling with.
I mean, I can think of a lot with Rise, which is a different branch of our events. But when it comes to the 5K, I mean, I have seen people who, is it okay to name drop? I mean,
Yeah.
so there is now a friend of mine now of ours, Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, that's the one. That was the one that was coming to my mind. So
He actually had never done a 5K. His first 5K, I don't know, I probably should, but he's found out about the Warrior for Warrior 5K in the first year we hosted it through the grapevine some way, somehow, and came. And that was, I think, his first 5K. And
it was.
He didn't know anything
so
aside
cool.
from just, I'm going to go sign up for this 5K and do it. Fast forward again, and I mean, he's doing endurance events. He's done a number of Spartan races. He's done,
he's
done amazing stuff.
The hurricane heats on the Spartan side, 12-hour hurricane heat, and he's participated in a number of our endurance events as well, our Rise events.
So that was just from doing a little simple 5K.
A little 5K, yeah. And it's just, seeing his confidence build. And he's just one. There's a lot, but that was the first one that he always comes to mind.
How do you encourage somebody who's like on the couch right now? Maybe somebody who's, our last guest had lost her husband from a drug overdose and was overweight and literally could only run one block. No, not even run, just walk one block before becoming exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those people, our listeners, who may need some motivation to get up off the couch? What's one piece of advice you might offer?
Yeah, for me, it's the mind, right? The mind is a very powerful force that you really have to overcome to take that first step and really open and realize your potential. What we try to do is, if we see people struggling like that, is to get some people that they know, some friends, to kind of encourage them. Sometimes when you get a company out there or some trying to advertise to people, sometimes it doesn't resonate with them. But for us, it's, talking to some of their friends and getting them to say, hey, why don't you come on and join us for a 5K? You don't have to run it. You can walk it, go at your own pace. It's just getting people to take that first step.
It is. It's so true. It's like, sometimes we don't really think that we should open our mouths or offer something up. I was in the grocery store yesterday and some guy said to me, hey, do you want free square dancing lessons? And I thought, that's how this starts, is just people opening their mouths and saying, hey, come run this race with me, or, try this out. I think these 5Ks are a lot more important than we give them credit for. It allows people to, look forward, look to the future. And in a situation where we have lots of mental health issues, where people are deciding whether today they want to stick around or not, something out there in the future that they're looking forward or training for has a lot of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard a story recently about somebody who, that 5K is what kept him alive. The 5K in the future, a little future event. So do you have stories like that or situations like that where people's mental health improved because of doing a race?
I mean, I know of one, and obviously I won't get into too much detail, but I've had numerous people reach out privately and just thank us and, say thank you. I didn't realize how much I needed that. I had no intentions of going. I had no plans to. My friend dragged me here. My husband dragged me here. My kid's soccer friend's mom wanted me to do this with her, what have you. So just those little behind the scenes moments. There's been more than I ever thought could ever be imagined. You know what I mean? It's just like it kind of makes you take a step back and realize that you are making a difference in people's lives, whether it's just something small. You know, even if we say 5K and we think run, but you know, we had last year's. We had two a 91-year-old war veteran come.
Wow.
And
That's so cool.
Yeah, and he walked the whole thing, and there was another gentleman that came in a wheelchair, and he carried 3 flags across the finish line in his wheelchair for his brother. So you have those moments, you know, and
Where
it's
it's
just
all worth it.
Yep, all of it.
You guys are what I would call go-givers. I'm reading a book called The Go-Giver, and which is opposite of the go-getter. It's those people who are really looking for opportunities to serve and help other people, their communities, and I'm super impressed by your motivation and your motive. Your like what you aspire to is really to bring the community together and bring out the best in people. Tell us a little bit about True North and why you picked that name.
Yeah, you know, we took a long time to come up with a name. I mean, once we decided.
I think we kept going back to this, though.
Yeah, we threw out, I don't know.
We had a list.
Dozens and dozens, you know. We just start throwing names out on the Google document, and, you know, we started picking names off. Yeah, we don't like that. That doesn't really resonate. And, we kept coming back to True North. And
Is there a meaning to that for both of you?
You know, when we talk about bringing people together, giving back to the community, everyone in them has something that they're aiming towards, whether they realize it or not. You know, kind of that true north in their kind of goal in life, where their direction, where they're going. And sometimes people don't know what that is. Sometimes they do know what it is, but they're not sure how to get to that point.
I like it.
And, you know, we're we were just having a conversation before we came into the studio here. We're just out there to guide people, put on events and let them do the work and help them along the way, finding their path in life. And if we help them just a little bit in a little direction and a little nugget, and sometime down the road that little nugget gets them to where they're going, you know, that means the world to us. And that's all we're here to do, is just to guide people and let them experience their true potential in life. So
that's awesome. It's like you're just a nudge forward.
Yeah.
That people need in the right direction for them to attain their bigger goals.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people they know they can do something, but they don't believe in themselves, or they don't have that confidence, or they lack that esteem to know that, I could do that.
What do these races do for those people?
A lot. I mean, even personally, do you remember your first Spartan race?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you think like, oh my gosh, that's the stupidest thing. Why would you pay money to go play in the mud? And then you do it, and you're like, and it's this instant bond with these people, and it's just infectious. And then it kind of flowed into what we do, where, we host different types of events, not just the 5K. And in all of them, we find that the participants come as strangers and leave as family,
Wow.
And it's just, and you see them interacting with each other outside of the event when they didn't even know each other before. And it's just
awesome. A camaraderie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is.
Suffering, misery,
yes.
love.
It is, yeah.
It is.
What
Yeah.
are some of the upcoming events that you're looking forward to, or some of the events that we can look forward to seeing from True North?
So we talked a little bit about the Warriors for Warriors 5K. This year, like Tiffany said, we pick a veterans organization to support. And this year it's Team RWB, Red, White, Blue. And so that's our 5K for the year, and on August 24th in Lehigh. We also have an endurance side, and our 4 to 5 hour event is called RISE. Resilience, Integrity, Service, and Endurance is what that stands for. Every event that we do, we want to have a service component to that as part of our RISE endurance events. So our first one was on June 1st. And it was in Sandy, and we did a service project in the park there as part of the event. But our RISE events is a non-time teamwork building event. Again, trying to get people to learn about teamwork, learn a little bit more about themselves, get them out of those
comfort
zones. Yeah, and really push them to find their potential and get past those mental obstacles. So that's almost an intro type of event to the endurance side. Again, non-time teamwork building events.
So just to get them exposed to what an endurance event would feel like, and maybe like moving past the 5K.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had a lot of people. That's where my quote unquote career started, was running some 5Ks, running some obstacle races, and now I'm heavy into the endurance side and more of the team building. Not really caring about time or anything like that, but really trying to work together as a team to accomplish whatever you want in life. And
which goes out into a lot of other areas, work environments. And
one of the things we stress is, take a nugget or two from what you learn from that event and apply it to your life. And that event's just a little bit of part of your life, but people are going through so much more in life than carrying a sandbag a mile or a cinder block or whatever. That's small in comparison to what most people are going through in life. Everyone's going through something in their life where they need some help.
That's a good point. So this just feeling of like you're not alone. You're not alone in the suffering. It really resonates with a lot of people right now. Matt, in terms of endurance events, what are some tips you can offer nutritionally for people who are moving from their 5K event to an endurance event? Like, what tips or things have worked for you? Yeah,
so what I always stress, the biggest thing is to train with different, whatever supplements, nutrition, food, water, whatever you're doing. Make sure you're out there training with it.
Don't try it on the...
First time trying something, don't be on event day. Yeah. And that goes with equipment too. But especially the nutrition side. The last thing you want is to upset stomach or throwing up or whatever because your friend's like, oh, why don't you try this today at the event? Try to resist that urge. And
are there things that you use that are helpful or useful?
For me personally, I really struggled in the longer races and in the endurance events with just stomach issues for me, the electrolytes and the things like that. So for me personally, what I've kind of settled in on is taking some salt tabs, but also use Tailwind, mixing some Tailwind into my water, and that has some electrolytes and a little bit of calories as well. And so that's really been helping me, for my longer endurance events. But I tell you what, everyone's different.
So what works for one person
is probably not going to work for another person.
Anything on recovery that works for you?
Recovery, I'm probably the wrong person to ask on the recovery because
he's a pizza beer guy. Recovery, right?
Yeah,
carbs.
I tend to go overboard on just.
That's awesome.
I've tried to eat healthy and stuff leading into an event, and then I enjoy myself at the house part, the house after event or at a restaurant or a bar, whatever, afterwards. I kind of.
That's great. Just whatever.
Indulge,
you've earned it.
Some pizza and ice cream and beer.
There you go. His food staples.
So Tiffany, what about you? Any nutrition or like advice for running a 5K or an endurance race?
I have completely fallen off of my fitness ideal, I guess. I need to get back into it, but we used to host houses. Races are expensive, and I'd host big houses, and we would all pitch in and all basically live together for the weekend. And I would, bring food, and everybody kind of had their own thing. But I know the things that I always picked up for people was bananas and peanut butter, oatmeal, whole grain toast or bread. I mean, those were kind of like everyone's go-tos, avocados. So
just whole foods that work.
Clean, good food, honey.
You don't want something that's so dense and it takes a long time to digest and stuff. And so that's the things you need to be testing out ahead of time.
Yeah, it's funny. This funny story. Just my son is serving a mission in Atlanta, and he and his companions got permission to run their own marathon, their own 26.2 mile marathon.
Wow.
Now it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity.
Oh
yeah. And he called the week before. He's like, "Mom, what advice do you have for me?" And I'm like, "Don't do that. We don't need you in the hospital. You've already broken your ankle twice since you've been out there."
Oh gosh.
But he was determined, and so I said, make sure that every 15 minutes you're either, like having something to drink, like water, Gatorade. Make sure that you're, there's some sodium or electrolytes in those things.
Yeah, that's the thing that a lot of people forget is
they wait till they're
replace
thirsty or hungry to eat or drink, and by that point it's kind of too late. You should just drink if you're not. Your body will eventually get rid of it if it doesn't need it. But if you wait until you're thirsty, then your body's probably already depleted, and now you're in trouble.
You're replacing that
so
salt.
I just told them, like, don't, if you don't want to go to the hospital, make sure that you abide the 15-minute rule. Like, do something every 15 minutes, whether it's, that you're eating something, drinking something. Make sure that you're including some sort of electrolyte beverage in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to force yourself.
That
was a struggle for me. I would wait too long until I got hungry or thirsty, and then by that time,
it's a done deal.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and he did it.
Good.
So I was
Good for him.
I don't know if I'm proud of him or nervous of what his next antic is going to be, but this is a kid who, like, there's no training that goes on.
He just shows up.
They're just walking and tracting and stuff like that. But I think what I love about what you guys are doing is that fitness and getting fit and participating in these events really peels off a layer of disconnectedness that we have with each other as human beings, and puts us in situations where we're more willing to share who we are, our authentic selves. And just in conclusion, will you maybe share where you've seen, like, people peeling off kind of those thick layers of inauthenticity, getting rid of those and being able to be real with each other and with themselves?
I can think of a few. Which one do you have one in mind? Because I have a few.
I want to see where you're going with that, yeah.
Well,
I mean, I've got some broader examples, but...
Well, and this is, I'll keep it vague, but I mean, you get the, and not to like stereotype, but I get the endurance events you go with that. You'll get the pretty girls, that get all done up and everything. And then now they're in the mud and they're sweaty and they're dirty and they're stinky and they have no choice but to just get in there with their teammates and just do what they have to do and realize that, they're awesome and they're amazing and they don't need to worry about what they look like.
Oh,
you know what
great.
I mean?
So you see that flip and you see, like, it's
really
okay.
Quick,
it's okay to be dirty, stinky.
Yeah, they kind of stop worrying about fixing things and just realize, like, oh, I don't have an extra hand to fix anything because I'm holding up this,
awesome.
This cinder block or whatever. So that's just a really vague.
But it's empowering. It's empowering for women to be able to strip away those labels or how people know us or see us to what kind of internal strength we have.
Well, and I think one thing that, and I'm sure you agree with this, the endurance isn't all about like the physicality of it. I mean, it really gives people an opportunity to shine with what their strengths are. So you have people who are in tune with certain things that others aren't. So you're going to have the people who are more methodical, though you're going to have the people who are faster runners, or you're going to have the stronger people. You're going to have the people who are just really good support systems for others that are talking their teammate through a hard situation that they're in. So it's so, I don't know. It's just, it dabbles. I don't want people to ever think.
Everybody.
Well, people think, I'm out of shape. You don't have to be in shape. You don't. Like, you could add something or bring something to the team that they don't have.
That is so cool. So there's a role for everybody to play.
There is, absolutely.
Yeah, most people think when they hear endurance, they got to be in this great shape. They're working out 5 days a week, and they're running marathons. And nah, I mean, we have people come out to our first Rise event that have never even considered doing an event like this, but
it's just all new.
Yeah.
But they want to take that risk, get out there with some friends or a friend or two that they may know and take that leap. And boy, they really learn quickly that, it's a really hard event. Maybe didn't train as much as I could have or not at all, but they come out of it empowered.
Wow.
I can do this. I can do hard things.
Which translates to other things in life, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So how do we find you guys on social media, or how do our listeners connect to True North and the events upcoming?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we do have a website. So it's a really long name, True North Endurance and Events, and you can Google that on Facebook and Instagram, and on the web as well. But the short thing we came up with, our handle name is TrueNorthEE.com,
Okay.
and that's also our handle on Facebook and Instagram as well.
So TrueNorthEE.com on Instagram and Facebook.
Well, the .com for our website,
okay.
but the True North EE is our handle name on Facebook and Instagram as well.
TrueNorthEE.
Yeah.
True Northy.
True North, yeah. But that's where we're at. We've got our current events up there. Got a couple more events coming up this year that we haven't quite launched yet, but we got a longer endurance event called Fear, and
It's a great time.
it's good. It's in October.
Oh,
you know,
have fun.
It's on a
That
farm.
sounds really
it's on a
fun.
farm out in the middle of nowhere, south of town here. And then we've got a couple events around 9/11 in September. So
Yeah.
So this is open to kids. Like any age can participate in some of these events.
So endurance events, not quite yet. You know, that's more for the the late teen into adults. But we are looking at maybe doing a kids endurance event next year. So looking into that. So
Great.
stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But
Great.
definitely our 5K.
Oh yeah.
And we do some virtual events too, where
We just did one for the Ronald McDonald House.
Oh,
So that I used to I volunteered there when I was younger, like tween,
Yeah.
tween age, and it's just a great foundation. What they offer families in need is just incredible. And so we did a virtual race for them, or a virtual
Yeah, it's
virtual
a virtual
5K.
race where we're not set up at a park or something, but anyone can go out and complete a 5K on their own time, doing however they want, run, bike,
fun.
swim, hike. They earn a cool patch for that one, and we donate some money to the Ronald McDonald House.
oh, it's a very good cause.
So we're-
Yes.
Very important.
So we're doing things like that as well. And I don't know if you want to talk about some of the 9/11 stuff. We can kind of.
We haven't launched it yet,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, so Ted Taylor, he is amazing guy. Very fortunate to have him in our lives. He's our medic. Probably anybody who may be listening from the Orem area, he's very involved. He's the chaplain for the fire department and works with Orem PD a lot. And he actually, every year, he's done it on his own every single year. And when I met him and found out about it, I knew I wanted to be involved, and him as Matt as well. And so he does an event every year. It's called Flag to Flag. And so to commemorate 9/11, he basically rucks from the flag in Lehigh to the flag in Pleasant Grove
Wow.
to the flag in Orem. So it's about 11 miles, give or take. So last year we did that, and we're carrying our flags and just to honor them all. And the Lehigh Police Department the Lehigh Police and Fire Department sent us off, and then we kind of had the welcoming crew, the PD, welcome us into Orem when we finally got there. And so we'll be doing that again for sure this year. That's a free event.
Cool.
I know that there will be some shirts for sale
And
that
that's
we'll
on
go to.
9/11.
It'll actually be that weekend of.
Just
I
before,
apologize. Yeah, I don't have a calendar up in front of me.
So,
So
you're
it's actually the 7th. I should have known that's my husband's
September
birthday.
7th.
September 7th, yes.
Happy
and we.
birthday.
Oh, that's not my husband.
Sorry. Happy birthday to your husband.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Corey. We leave at 9/11 though, so we'll start the ruck at 9/11, and everybody's welcome to do that. We also have a virtual one that we do every year called Ascend 110, and that's basically you ascend 110 stories to honor the firefighters for 9/11. So you can do that with the 40 pounds of weight like they carry with their equipment. You can do it in a stairway. You can do it on a stair climber. You can go for a hike and earn it. But that's been a really meaningful event that we've hosted virtually for this will be its 3rd year as well. So
Very cool. You guys are definitely go-givers, and I appreciate you sharing your story with us and how True North is becoming, part of the community for people to learn more about themselves.
Yes.
To be more connected as people.
Yes.
And just the great commemorative events that you do for vets and
Thank
for
you.
9/11. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here, you
you.
guys.
Yeah, appreciate
you.
that. Go-giver. I'm going to have to remember that one. I'm always
You're
called a
definitely-
go-getter, but go-giver, that's
Go-giver's
good.
a lot more fun, isn't it?
absolutely.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.